You know, people ask me sometimes. They lean back in their chair, maybe holding a cup of coffee, maybe sitting across from me on a park bench, and they say, "Harold, what's the loudest sound in the world?" Now, most folks think I'm going to say thunder, or a jet engine, maybe an explosion, but I just shake my head and tell them the truth. The loudest sound in the world is silence. Yeah, silence. It's the sound of this phone right here, when it hasn't rung in 3 months. You know what I'm talking about. Some of you watching this right now felt that line hit your chest a little harder than you expected, because you've heard that silence too. You've sat in a quiet house where the clock ticks louder than it should. You've walked past a phone sitting on the table, hoping it lights up. Just once. But it doesn't. And the quiet gets heavier every day. Now let me tell you something about me. I got 3 children. 3. All grown now. I remember the day each one of them came into this world. I remember holding them when they were so small, their whole hand wrapped around just one of my fingers. I changed their diapers. I stayed up all night when they were sick. I worked double shifts to make sure they had shoes for school. I paid for that fancy college tuition that cost more than the house I grew up in. I sat in the stands at football games, freezing my hands off in the winter, just to cheer for them. I clapped the loudest. I believed in them the most. I gave them everything I had, my back, my knees, 40 years of my life working at that plant so they wouldn't have to struggle the way I did. Lord knows I gave them every dime I ever made. And now, I'm 82 years old, and if I'm lucky, I mean really lucky, I might get a text message on Christmas. "Merry Christmas, Dad." That's it. Just 6 words. No phone call, no visit, no "how are you doing?" Just a message sent between shopping trips and holiday dinners. And sometimes I stare at that little message on the screen and think to myself, so this is what a lifetime of love looks like now. Now listen. If you're sitting there watching this and your chest feels a little tight, I already know why. Because some part of you recognizes this story. You're sitting in a quiet house. Maybe the kids moved to another city. Maybe they got busy with their own lives. Maybe the grandkids don't even know you that well. And you sit there sometimes wondering, what did I do wrong? You pick up the phone. You scroll through the contacts. You see their name. And you call. It rings and rings and rings. Then voicemail. And you leave the same message you always leave. "Hey baby, hey son, hey sweetheart, just checking in on you. Call your dad back when you get a chance." And then you wait. You tell yourself they're busy. You tell yourself they'll call tomorrow. You tell yourself they love you. But tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into next month. And nothing happens. Now today, I'm going to tell you something, and I won't lie to you. It might hurt a little, but it's the truth. Stop calling them. Put the phone down. Don't leave another voicemail. Don't send another message begging for a little attention. Don't chase people who already walked away. Because every time you do that, you lose something. The only thing you have left now, your dignity. Now I know what you're thinking. You're not calling because you want attention. You're calling because you're scared. Yeah, I know that fear. You're scared that if you stop calling, they'll forget about you completely. You think if you don't remind them you're still here, one day you'll just disappear from their life. Gone, like you never existed. But listen to me very carefully. If you have to remind your own children that you exist, they already forgot. That's a hard truth. But begging for love, that's not love. That's pity. And I don't know about you, but I worked too hard in my life to live off pity. I worked 40 years in that plant. I stood through storms. I fixed things that were broken. I kept going when my body hurt. I didn't do all that just to sit by a phone waiting for someone to feel sorry for me. Because here's something people don't tell you. When you call your children 5 times a week, sounding sad, sounding lonely, sounding like your whole life depends on them calling back, you're teaching them something. You're teaching them that you're a burden. You're teaching them that you have no life outside of them. You're teaching them that you're just waiting by the window like an old dog hoping its owner comes home. And people run from that feeling, even your own family. It starts to feel like pressure to them, so they pull away. And when they pull away, you chase harder. And when you chase harder, they run faster. It becomes a cycle, and the only way to stop it is to stop chasing. Today, right now, the chasing ends. But stopping the calls is just the first step. Because once the silence comes, you have to face the real reason you kept dialing that phone in the first place. Guilt. Yeah, that quiet guilt that creeps in when the house gets dark. You lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying old memories. Maybe I was too hard on him. Maybe I worked too much. Maybe I didn't hug them enough. Every parent has those thoughts. Every single one. Let me tell you something important. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. Not one. I made mistakes. Lord knows I made plenty. There were days I lost my temper. There were days I came home too tired to talk. There were times I probably should have listened more and lectured less. But I was there. I didn't run away. I didn't abandon my responsibilities. I put food on the table. I kept the lights on. I gave my children the best life I knew how to give. And if someone wants to punish you 30 years later for something you did when you were just trying your best, that's not your burden to carry. That's theirs. You cannot apologize forever, and you sure cannot pay for the past with your dignity today. If they want to hold on to old anger, let them hold it. That's a heavy bag to carry, but you don't have to carry it for them. Forgive yourself. You did your job. The contract is finished. You deserve peace now. Now comes the most important step, building the garden. You might be wondering, if I stop calling them, what am I supposed to do? Just sit here alone? No, not at all. My grandfather used to tell me something when I was a boy. He said, "Harold, if you chase a butterfly, it will always fly away. But if you build a beautiful garden, the butterflies will come to you. And even if they don't come, you still have a beautiful garden." For 5 years, I sat in this same chair you're seeing right now, waiting for my phone to ring. Every day. Every evening, every holiday, just waiting. Then 6 months ago, I woke up one morning and said something out loud. Enough. That day I walked down to the community center and signed up for a woodworking class. Hadn't touched tools in 20 years. My hands were rusty, but it felt good, real good, making something again. Then I started going to the park. There's a group of old men there who play chess every afternoon. Let me tell you something. Those old fools take chess very seriously. We argue, we laugh, we talk about life, and sometimes we just sit there enjoying the sun. I also started cooking again, pulled out my old gumbo recipe, the one my mother taught me 50 years ago. The house smells good again. And you know what happened when I started doing those things? Something strange. I stopped feeling empty. I stopped needing someone else to fill the quiet, because my life started filling up again. And something else happened too. I became interesting again, not just to other people, but to myself. When you stop living for someone else's attention and start living for your own joy, everything changes. Now here's a little secret about children. They're curious creatures. When the phone stops ringing, they notice. When the guilt trips disappear, they start wondering, why hasn't Dad called lately? Is he okay? What's he doing? And sometimes, eventually, they call. And when they do, they don't find a sad old man sitting alone in the dark. They find someone who is living, someone with stories, someone who isn't desperate for attention. And that makes them want to stay longer. Now I won't lie to you. Life doesn't always tie itself up in a perfect ending. Sometimes you build the garden and the butterflies still don't come. Sometimes the people you loved the most never show up again. Sometimes folks are just selfish. Even family. That's the truth nobody likes to say out loud. But here's the thing. You can't force someone to love you, but you can refuse to let their absence destroy you. You are not defined by who visits you on Sunday. You are not defined by how often your phone rings. You are defined by the person you see in the mirror every morning. My phone hasn't rung in 3 months, and that's okay, because tomorrow I'm going to the wood shop. I'm working on a new table. After that, I'm going to cook myself a good steak. Maybe I'll play chess in the park. Maybe I'll sit outside and watch the sunset. Either way, I'm going to live. And if my children decide one day they want to be part of that life, the door isn't locked. They're welcome anytime. But I'm not standing in the doorway waiting anymore. Life is too short for that. So if you're watching,